everybody, it's Teacher Katie here from the Walla Walla YMCA, and I kind of thought we could do something very different, and that is to bake together. So what I did before this is send everybody the ingredients in case they wanted to join us in this fun activity. So I'm going to go through everything that we need, and we're going to get the oven going so it can heat up, and then we're going to bake something together. And what are we going to bake? We are going to bake some banana bread. This is one of my favorite things to bake at home, and I've been doing it for a long time. I use the same recipe every time. It's from the Betty Crocker cookbook. Here it is. It's kind of old and worn because we've used it so long, and I've kind of over the years tweaked a few things in the recipe to suit myself and my family, and I'll tell you all about that as we get going. But obviously we know the first thing we have to do is to wash our hands. It's very important to do that. So let me get to the sink and I'll wash my hands. And why don't we, while we wash our hands, sing the ABCs so we can make sure we can do a good job. So get the water on. I just got my soap. I'm going to rub in that soap, and here we go. We sing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Won't you wash your hands with me? And I'll make sure I get all that soap off, no bubbles left on. Really scrub your hands really good on top in between those fingers. Really good wash. I'm going to shake them off a little bit. And you can either use your own personal towel at home or maybe some paper towel. Make sure you dry your hands really good. We don't want them to get cracked and sore. All right, so that's the first thing. We will have to wash them again in a minute. Let's go through all of the things we need to make this banana bread. I'm really big about sticking to the directions, so I'm going to read what we needed. It says we need some sugar, so I've made sure I've got that ready. We also need butter or margarine, so I have my butter or margarine here. Then we also need 2 large eggs, and I got my bowl here ready with my eggs and my whisk, ready to whisk them. It also says we need 3 ripe bananas. So here, all of mine aren't really ripe, but that's the best I've got right now. So I have 3 bananas here in my bowl and my fork. And then it says you can either use buttermilk or regular milk. I like to use regular milk, so I have that ready for myself in the fridge. Also some vanilla. So here it is, look, I have my vanilla ready, and also the measuring spoon I need for that. We need our all-purpose flour, so here we go. Here's the flour, and to go with the flour, we need our baking soda and some salt. And I have my plate and my measuring spoon ready for the baking soda and salt. And you can also add nuts to this if you'd like to. In our family, we don't like banana bread with nuts, so we're not going to be using nuts, but feel free to do that, and I'll tell you when you add those nuts if you would like. So there are all the things we need, and I'll tell you how much of each ingredient we need as we get to it. Now it says number 1, instruction is to make sure you have your oven on. But before that, you have to take one of the racks and move it to the bottom of the oven. Now, boys and girls, you should be doing this with an adult, and you never touch the oven without an adult present, and they should be the ones who are doing that. So be very careful because it can be very dangerous. So my oven is not on right now. It is completely cold, so I'm going to open it, and I did already kind of check this, and make sure one of the racks is right towards the bottom of the oven, which it is, so I'm good to go. Now I need to put the oven on because it takes a while to warm up, and mine actually takes a really long time to warm up. So I need to check what temperature it needs to be. And on here I'm reading heat oven to 350 degrees. So I gotta walk over. I have to press bake on mine, and I'm lucky mine comes straight up at 350 degrees. And it's telling me it's making a beeping sound to push start, because that's important so we can get going. So here I go. And now it's going to start to warm up. So that means this area is going to get very hot. And remember, that can be dangerous, so you must be very safe and stay with an adult at all times. So let's leave the oven and go and see what else we have to do. Next on the list, and we're still in number 1, it says we have to grease the bottoms of whichever pan you're going to use. So for this one, you can either use one of these, which is for you to make a big loaf, or how I like to do it, because I showed you earlier my mini loaves, is we use this pan so we can make 4 small loaves. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to use some cooking spray. This one's a non-stick vegetable oil cooking spray, and I'm going to spray my pan. And I usually spray them pretty good, and that's so when the banana bread's cooking, it doesn't stick to the pan, because we want to loosen it up so we can eat it. So I'm going to spray really good. So here I go. I'm going to get all the areas, spray as well as I can. It's the first thing. All right, I got all of my areas greased. I'm not going to use this one, so I'm going to put it aside. And now this one's ready, I'm going to move this one to a side too. I'm going to put it right here, out of my way, and that's just going to soak so it is ready. I also don't need the banana bread, so I'm going to put that to one side so I have some space. And it's important to remember to clean your area before you begin, so make sure you have done that. Your parent hopefully has sanitized and cleaned all of the area. So I do need to make sure it says in number 1 as well that you mash your bananas, because we're going to need them mashed up. So let's do that first. Let's move these to a side so you can see. I'm going to get my fork and my bowl, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 bananas, and now it's time to peel them. So I'm going to peel the bananas, and as I do that, kind of make them go into my bowl like this. And there's never any rush with this, so take your own time. However long it takes you. Here's my next one. I'm going to get ready. This one's not as brown on the outside, so not as ripe, but it's still in good condition for the banana bread. And number 3. Here we go. Let's get it ready. There we go. All right, I have 3 in. And you can use a bigger bowl if you like. I usually use quite a small one, but whatever you're comfortable with. You've got to make sure you hold the bowl still, and now you've got to mash gently, look. And that's why it's nice if they're nice and ripe, because they're nice and soft. And just take your time and try and get all those lumps out of your bananas. This is actually a super fun thing to do. Mash those bananas, and whatever you do, don't sneak any bites yet, because we want our hands to stay nice and clean. I know it can be tempting. Mash those bananas up. I'm almost done. I'm just finishing mashing my second one. I'm going to show this to you so you can kind of see. You've got the 1 banana left, look, and I've been mashing it. So it's all mashed up. Let me do my last one. Here we go. Well, you can tell this is the one that wasn't as ripe. It's a little bit stiff to try and mash up. Here we go. Almost got it. Once I've kind of mashed the 3 of them, hopefully you're having fun doing this, using that fork and mashing it. I kind of just push around on all of it now. There it goes. Mash, mash, mash. Oh, it smells so good. Smell those lovely bananas. I kind of mix it a little bit. Get as many of the lumps out as you can. All right, I'm going to show it to you. Look, it's like a mashed bowl of bananas. So now that's ready. I'm going to put it to a side because remember, I don't need it right now. And let's just go ahead and keep our surface area clear and move that to one side. Move some of our items over here so we have them ready. Excellent. Don't forget what's next. Read the directions. Your parent or an adult can read them to you. That's the end of number 1. Ready for number 2? It says, in a large bowl, stir the sugar and butter or margarine until it's well mixed. So that's the first part. So don't forget, we need a big bowl. Here's my bowl right here. Reread if you need to. Sugar. So now I've got to check, how much sugar do I need? I have to go back to the recipe, and it tells me here I need 1 1/4 cups of sugar. So I got these ready. It's kind of fun to get everything organized for yourself. Here's my 1 cup. Here's my 1/4 cup. And here's my sugar. So I'm going to bring this over. And I got to measure it out. There's 2 ways you can do this. You can either put your cup in the bag or you can pour the bag onto the cup. Do whatever you would like to do. Try one this time and maybe try the other one next time. I'm going to go for a dip one today. So I'm going to get a full cup here because it said a cup and a 1/4. And make sure it's nicely filled up. So like for that, it didn't get filled up. So I can use the little one here to help me fill a full cup. Let's do that. Look, it's helping me out here. And I'm trying to keep it over the bowl as best as I can so sugar doesn't go everywhere. Here we go. Now I have a whole cup. Ready? Pour it into the bowl. Listen, makes a really fun noise. Oh, I love that. So it said a cup, 1 full cup and a 1/4 cup. So we've done our 1 cup. We have just the 1/4 cup left. Let's do it. In it goes. Here we go. Are you ready? Let's let it pour on in. All right. And we actually need the cup later on. So I'm going to just put these to one side for now. Put them back over here. We've done a 1 1/4 cup of sugar and then it said our margarine. And for that it said 1/2 cup of butter or margarine and make sure it's soft. So here I got mine out of the fridge and I left it at room temperature for about 20 minutes. So it was nice and soft, and you can tell that by if you gently press your fingers in, you can kind of see your own dent of your fingers or thumbs in the butter or margarine. So mine's ready to go. And it tells me on here what 1/2 cup is. So this is in tablespoons. I'm going to come a bit closer so you can see. And you can see it's 1 tablespoon per little part. Do you see that? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it tells you here, tablespoon measure. A 1/4 cup would be 4. So we'd have to count 1, 2, 3, 4 if we wanted a 1/4 cup. 1/3 of a cup would be 5 1/3 of tablespoons. Oh, that one's a bit complicated, but this is the one we need to know. 1/2 cup equals 8 tablespoons. And how many did we count? 8. So we need the whole thing. Makes it kind of easy. So I'm going to open up the packaging and I'm going to put it in. Here I go. You feel that's soft. I'm trying not to touch it. I'm just using the pack and I'll let it roll into there. There it goes. Fine. I'm going to put this with my trash pile. There it goes. And we're done with the sugar. So again, keep your area clear. Move the sugar to one space. Here we go. So I have, it said in a large bowl, stir sugar and butter until well mixed. So here I have my butter, or mine's margarine, and sugar in the bowl. There it is. It's time to get mixing, and I like to use a small electric mixer for this part, but you don't have to. You can also use just a regular wooden spoon if you'd prefer, but I'm going to use my electric one. So I'm going to come over here on my island. Here it is, and again, this is electric, so you need to make sure an adult plugs it in for you. So I'm going to plug it in, make sure it's ready. Everything's good to go, and I'm going to slowly start to mix. Here I go. Let's do it on a low setting to start. And I'm going to get all that margarine mixed in. This is why it's important to make sure the margarine is soft. Hopefully you can hear me. Soft margarine here. I'm going to try and turn it a little bit. Hopefully you can see. Oh, he's going to come a bit closer. Here she comes. See it mixing in. There it goes, look. Excellent. So I'm going to keep doing this for just a few seconds, okay? Get it all really well mixed in. I usually tip my bowl on the side so it doesn't explode everywhere. Make sure it's having a good mix. Got to be patient for this part while it all mixes in. Patience is important. It means you have to wait. And that's okay. Here we go. Here it goes. Looking pretty good. Alright, I'm going to stop this real quick. course, did you see I turned it off, but I kept it in the bowl because think, if I'd have brought it up and it was still going, what would happen to it? It'd go all over the place and would be in a big mess. So I turned it off inside of my bowl. So I'm done with this part. So I'm going to leave this rested. I can clean that up in a little while. And I'm going to come close to you so you can see how it looks now. It almost looks like breadcrumbs. Do you see? And I'm not touching it, remember? So that doesn't look the same as it did a minute ago. The margarine and the sugar are now blended together. Let's read our next important part of the directions. So that was our sugar and our margarine. Next it says, stir in your 2 eggs until well mixed. Now I'm going to put my bowl to one side because I always like to do this. I think it's important to make sure you whisk your eggs before you put them into your recipe. So this is fun. Are you ready to crack some eggs with me? Let me pull them both out because it's going to go into the bowl here. Here's one, and you're going to crack and get ready. It's going to be a bit messy, but that's okay. Here I go. There it goes. Get a little crack. Gently pull that shell apart, and don't worry if shell falls in. We can get it out. You can use a spoon, or if you have clean fingers, you can use fingers to pull out the shell. Look, I've got all my egg in. Remember I made myself a trash pile, so I'm going to put it in the trash because we'll clean up afterwards. Here's my second egg, because 2 eggs. Little crack, look. There it goes. Take your time. Whoop, there it goes. It's fun learning to crack eggs, but it takes practice. Now my hand's got a little bit gooky there, so I think it's important to rewash. So I'm going to go back. This time I'm just going to wash my hands. Get some more soap on them. You can sing again if you want, and if not, just make sure you wash them really good. We don't want any raw egg on our hands. Get them all nice and clean. I'm making sure that soap is off. Really good job here. There we go. Shake them off. And you know what? Did you guys hear what I heard? Did you hear that beep? What do you think the beep means? It went beep. All ovens are different, but what that means for my oven is it's ready, it's up to temperature, and I know that because if you remember when I started, it started on the lower number and now it says 350. It means the oven is ready for baking, which is great. But we've still got more to do. Let's get back. We were on our eggs. Got myself a little whisk. I like to use the jug because you have a handle to hold on to. And here I go. Let's whisk those eggs a little. Here we go. Whisky whisk. Again, I like to tilt mine. And if you need help, ask for help. That's why an adult's doing this with you. They can help you however needed. But it's really important to try and do some by yourself. So the whole point is to learn and try. Oh, there we go. My eggs are nice and whisked. Gonna bang that off a little bit. I'll put that over here. That's dirty. We'll clean that up later. I'm gonna pour the eggs into the mixture. Remember, there were 2 eggs. Look a lot different now. Here I go. Pour them in. You can kind of use your whisk again if you want to kind of scrape any of the leftover eggs in your bowl. There. Oh, fun. That's definitely dirty now. I'm gonna put that over here. I'm gonna put my whisk in it. Put it close to the electric whisk. There we go. Let's double check. Always like to double check. It said stir in eggs until well mixed. We poured the eggs in, but we've not stirred yet. So now I'm going for my wooden spoon. Let's stir in the eggs. Here I go. In a second, I'll come to you. But what should be happening, because the eggs are more of a liquid. So if you remember, it kind of looked a little bit powdery, like breadcrumbs is what I said. And now it's looking a little bit creamier because you've mixed a liquid in. Those eggs are the liquid. I'll bring it over to you so you can see. Ready? Here we go. Let me come to you. Here we go. Look, do you see? Not like breadcrumbs anymore. It's more of a liquid, which is great. And then there are a few lumps in there. It's okay. It's not going to hurt your recipe. Let me get back to business. Here I go. I'm going to give it a little bit longer of a stir here. Kind of beat it. You can see I'm not stirring slowly. I'm going a little bit quicker. And what am I doing with my other hand? It's securing the bowl. Here we go. Excellent. Oh, fun, fun, fun. I think my eggs are good. Let's read the next part. It says, stir in the bananas, the buttermilk or regular milk, and vanilla. So that's 3 things to remember. Let's do it slowly. It first said stir in the bananas. That's why it's important to have your bananas ready. So you ready for this? Let's get them. There they are. Still smell really good. Let's get them poured in here. There they go. Get them all scraped in as much as you can. Excellent. Ready? Look at that. Do you see? Making the color change. It's so cool to see how much everything changes when it's mixed together. Here we go. Scrape it round. It's important. Do you see what I keep doing? I keep going back to the top of the bowl too and scraping and then stirring. You want to make sure it all mixes evenly together. There we go. Excellent. Oh, it smells so good, boys and girls. It smells sweet. I can smell that bananas. Oh, yummy, yummy. All right, those bananas are done. It's another dirty dish. I'm going to move it out the way. Remember, who remembers what it said next? It said bananas, then something I've got to get out of the fridge. Milk. Let's get it. I'm going to get my milk out. Here we go. Going into the fridge. Get my milk out. It doesn't matter what milk you use. Whatever your parents have is absolutely fine. And let me tell you how much. Oh, that's an important part. Half of a cup. So I've got one of my jugs here again. If you remember, I've used different measuring. I used these kind and these kind. There's lots of different things that you can find to help you measure stuff. And you got to look. I'm looking at where it says half a cup. I'll bring it over so you can see on mine. And you can see on this one. Do you see? A 1/4 cup, a 1/3 of a cup, half a cup. So I need to fill the milk up to the half cup line. So here we go. Let's do this. You might need a little bit of help with this one. So again, ask an adult to help you. Now I've got to make sure it's just right. So I usually lean down a little. So maybe your parent or someone can pour it while you lean down and you can tell them when to stop when it gets to that line of half a cup. So here we go. Remember to check. Check when it gets to the line. Look, I'm pouring slowly because it comes quicker than you think and we want to make sure we've got the right amount. My eyes are in line and I'm almost there. Done! Half a cup. Let's just double check we were right. If I remember, it said half a cup of milk or buttermilk. I'm done. Better put the milk back in the fridge. Let me do that. Excellent. So it was bananas, buttermilk or milk. Here we go. Excellent. Here I go. Now it's getting more liquidy, so whatever you do, don't stir too fast now. I kind of go a little bit slower to start. And let's have Chloe come back over here so you guys can kind of see, because it looks quite milky right now. Do you see? But look, I'm doing it really slowly so it can really stir in. And remember what I said, scrape around the top. Look, it just looks like liquid now. Totally different kind of texture. Look at that. Move it around and around. Look, so now it's kind of mixing a little bit better. I am kind of stirring it a little bit quicker, but not too crazy because we don't want it to splout all over the place. Get it all down the side. Stir, stir, stir. All right, excellent. Let's get back to looking at the directions again. So there were those, remember there was 3 things. It said stir in bananas. Check. We did that. Stir in milk or buttermilk. Check. Did that. Who remembers that last thing? Vanilla. That was it. Here's my vanilla. My teeny bottle of vanilla. Now, in the actual ingredients, it says 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You can use 1 full teaspoon if you'd like, but I found over the years just half a teaspoon is perfect for my family. So I'm just going to use a half a teaspoon and I'm back to these again. Let me bring it over so you can see. It's kind of tricky, this one, because it's white on white, but it does actually say half a teaspoon right there, so I know it's the right sized measuring spoon. This is tricky. because we don't want it to leak all into our bowl if we go over. So what I sometimes do is get maybe the jug I use the milk in, just in case it pours too fast, and then I can take my time. Slowly does it. Maybe you could even hold the spoon and the adult can do it, or just try. It doesn't matter if you go a little bit over, because we're not doing it over the bowl, we're doing it over the milk jug here. Here I go. Whoop, there. And look, sometimes it goes over. Look, did you see? A little bit spilled, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Here I go. I'm going to go slowly. I have to use a steady hand. Here it goes. Woo! Half a teaspoon for me. Maybe you used a teaspoon, and that's absolutely fine. Let me move my things out of the way. Remember what I said, there is never a rush. You're supposed to be enjoying this, so take your time and have fun. All right, we've used our vanilla. Let's stir that in. That was the third thing. Bananas, buttermilk or milk, and then some vanilla. Here we go. Round it goes. It is really liquidy, boys and girls. Really liquidy. Look, do you see it? Runny, and it's still a little bit lumpy because of those bananas. Smells good still though. Smells really good. All right, we did bananas, buttermilk, vanilla. Next, we're stirring in flour. So let me check how much it says on our recipe. It says 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. So let me bring my flour over. Here it is. That's why I kept these close. Don't need the 1/4 cup. I already have my 1/2 cup here, but we need 2 1 cups and 1 of the 1/2 cups, 2.5 cups. I'm going to use the little 1/2 cup to help me fill up the big 1 cup. Here we go. Get this ready. Just take your time. Remember, if you spill on your surface, oh well, we're going to tidy up afterwards. If you don't make some mess when you're cooking, then you're not doing something right. Because we're bound to make a little bit of mess, and that's okay. There we go. I like to kind of smooth mine out to make sure it's a perfect cup. Here we go. It doesn't have to be, I said perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Just the best you can do it. So that's 1. You got to help me remember how many I'm doing. 1, in it goes. We need 1 more big one. So here we go. Scrape it around again. In it goes. Excellent. Here we go. Let me get some out of here. Sometimes it's easier to put the flour in a big bowl too. That kind of helps. But you know what? However you want to do it is fine. Here we go. Look at that mess I'm making. I love it. All right, remember there was 2 cups, so we did 1. Here's the second. And then who remembers what was left? 2.5. You got it. We just need 1 of these. So let me dig in there. If you watch me, I kind of use the bag sometimes to help me smooth it off on the inside. Look, then it makes it nice and smooth. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, Chloe's coming over again so we can have a good look at it. Looks a little bit different. And you'll watch this because the flour's going to thicken the mixture. So, here I go. Look, doing it slowly because otherwise that flour will go whoosh. And we don't want it to leave the mixture because we need the right amount in there. So like I said, don't rush. Take your time, just slowly does it. And you'll see the more I stir, the more the flour mixes in to the liquid mixture. Do you see? Look at that. It's almost like magic. Look at it. And you'll feel it getting kind of stiffer to maneuver around. It's not as easy as it was before. Now, remember what I told you a while ago. Scrape all the edges because we need it all to be mixed in. And this one, like I said, it gets kind of stiff as it gets thicker. So if you need an extra hand, ask someone to help you. Don't struggle. Maybe try a little while, switch out with someone, and then come back to it. Look, I'm trying to scrape. Even on the bottom, you can see some of the flour's not mixed in. Do you see it? So even that, I kind of scrape around. Get it really good here. There it goes. Remember, it's not a quick thing to do. You've got to take your time. Scrape it all off. I'm not missing any bits here. Alrighty. Really smells good, boys and girls. It's really making me want to eat it, but we want to stay healthy. Don't want to put our fingers in there yet, no matter how good it smells. Be careful. Alrighty. I got it. Oh, it's good. Now remember, there was some other things to go with it. First it said flour. It also says we need our baking soda and salt. Baking soda and salt. So here we go, look. Here's the baking soda, here's the salt. You know what I love about this? It's the same amount. It says 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of salt. So again, if you want to get like something to lean over, go ahead and do that. The top of my salt has broken here, but usually it has a pourer. Here it goes, look. Here's my 1 teaspoon. There goes my salt, make sure it's even. Bloop, there's the salt. Now some baking soda. Here we go. It's more of a powder, this one. Sometimes you can fit your spoon in there, which is kind of a bonus as well. There it goes. Excellent. So we've put our flour in, put the salt in. This is going to make the mixture raise in the oven, so it doesn't come out like a liquid, and it comes out like this to make the banana bread. So they're really important parts of the ingredients. If we didn't use all these things, it wouldn't come out like that. It just wouldn't bake, wouldn't raise. All right, really stir it in good. We don't want it being all salty, all mixed in. And you don't have to do them separate. You can do the flour, the baking soda, and the salt at the same time if you would like. You don't have to do them separate. Whatever you feel like. Here we go. Excellent. Alrighty. Let me check. What's next? Stir in nuts. Remember I told you at the beginning, you can use chopped nuts if you'd like. Our family doesn't like it with nuts, so we don't use the nuts, but if you do, use them. And it says to use 1 cup of chopped nuts. So this would be the time where you pour those nuts in, stir really good again, so it's all nutty and yummy and ready for you. That is the last part, and now it's telling me I have to pour the mixture into the loaf pan. So either using the big one or I'm using the small ones. Remember, we sprayed it because we don't want it to stick. So let me make myself some room. Move all my things to one side. Try and keep all my dirty dishes together. Look, all the things I made. Here we go. There we go. Let's bring the loaves over. Ta-da! Now, I use 4, and I want to make sure they're evenly spread out. You can do 2 things here. You can either use one of your measuring spoons and kind of spoon it in, or if you think you can hold your bowl and try and scrape a little bit in. So I'm going to show you what I do. And if you need help with this, get some help, okay? So Chloe, come over again. So here I go. I'm going to just do a little bit at a time. You got to take your time on this because we don't want it to overflow. I'm just going to do a little bit to start so I get a little bit in each. Here we go. You see how I twisted my spoon to make the liquid not drip in between. I've learned lots of different things over the years doing the same recipe. I've got better and better at it because I kept trying. Here I go. A little bit more in this one. Almost there. Here's the last one. And here we go. I'm going to keep doing this one. I'm going to get it all in here. All right. I've got to scrape it around. You see how I've gone back now? I've gone back to the beginning. And I have done a little bit more in each. And they won't be full. We don't want them to be full because remember we said we use that flour, baking soda and salt to help the mixture raise. So we don't want it to be too full. Make sure I get it a little bit in each. All right, I think this one, I kind of usually look at them and see which one needs it more. You know what I always do? I always leave myself a little bit because it's fun to taste some. Only a little bit. There we go. All right, so I've got majority of my mixture out. Look, if you look in my bowl, not much in there. If you want to scrape round more, you can, because you can get a little bit more. It's kind of up to you. And put this aside. There we go. And it is ready for the oven. Do you see that? So this part is the part where you have to have an adult help you because we don't want to burn our hands or any part of our body. So ask an adult to help and you can stand and watch as your banana loaves go into the oven. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get my oven mitts on here. There we go. I have different kinds of ones. They're protecting my hands. Protecting my hands here. Here we go. Open up the oven. Take my time because I can feel the heat and it can be very dangerous, so I'm moving slowly. Now it's time to put the banana loaves into the oven. Are you ready? And it carefully, remember it said to put it on the bottom one and you had to move one so it was really low. And I'm just going to gently push them so they end up in the middle of the oven. Do you see? There they are. Now I'm going to close it up and I've got to check how long they need to cook. Now in this one it can say sometimes up to an hour and it depends on which loaf you did. So on this one it sometimes says for about an hour for an 8-inch loaf. Or for a 9-inch loaf, about an hour and 15 minutes. I actually do this. I usually set a timer for 30 minutes to start and then I check on them. And you'll see when you'll know they're ready as you pour them out and you can put a little toothpick in the center of one of them. And again, adults are gonna have to do that. We don't want to get hurt. And if it comes out clean, it means all the mixture has cooked. So that's how you can check them. So I'm gonna set my timer for 30 minutes first. I love it because this kind of goes in 5s. So we can do 5 minutes, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then press start, and then my timer will go off and I will remember to come and get them. So that is the end of how we did our recipe. We put all the things together in the bowl and made those banana breads. And then remember what I said, I usually save myself in the bowl, so I'm gonna try some right now. It's always fun to do this at the end. Check with your parent and see if it's okay and you can try some. Tastes really good, boys and girls. Yummy, yummy. And then, what do you think we have to do now? Look at all the mess we made. What's the responsible thing to do? Clean up after yourself. So remember, you're the one who did this with your parent or an adult. And so maybe you could work together as a team, put everything back where it belongs, be responsible, clean up the space, and in the meantime, that banana bread is cooking in the oven and we can enjoy a treat later. And I will send a photo out later on so you can see how my banana breads turned out. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Bye.